a question now about these two artifacts which you have here. I know that most of them are in secure storage at the moment, so we're not able to lay them all out on the table. But on your desk right here, you've got a couple of objects that I find absolutely fascinating. And would you tell us why you brought these out for us, what they are, what is their significance? What are we looking at here? They're metal plates.
These are two bronze plates. They were in the ownership of Father Crespi, an Italian father living in Ecuador, and he collected many pieces, and Indians brought him, local people brought him, when he helped them, always some gifts, and he said that those plates were brought from the Cueva de los Dioses, the famous underground tunnel system in Ecuador.
Now, I have heard of this, but maybe some of our viewers haven't. What is that? This is something which I've heard described as the metal library, is that right?
Could be that those pieces are from this metal library. They were not accepted by official Patrimonio Cultural, that means the ministry. They did check on all the pieces of Father Carlos Vaca, and as those two pieces have nothing to do with the pre-Columbian culture, they were not accepted as original. The strange thing is that a few months ago in Bolivia, they found out some translations of writings on stone monuments in Bolivia, and they found out that this writing is connected or is Sumerian writing. And if we are talking now about Sumerian writing or Phoenician writings found in South America, we have here one plate which usually, from our view, from the scientific view, has nothing to do with South America.
Could you hold it up for the camera? Just so
yes, sure.
So we can
have here
looking at.
Half human with a bird and wings, bird head and wings, and here is the tree of life. The same found in Babylonia. This is, hopefully, and I think we checked it already, is an original, but there is the same statue, the same form in the British Museum, made out of stone, but much taller, and found in Babylonia.
But
so
it
that
doesn't look like a bird. It looks like a reptilian to me. A reptile.
Yeah, but has wings.
It has wings,
yeah.
So that's why you call it a bird.
Yeah.
Okay, for what we understand is that there is a version of the reptilian that has wings, but that's, not proven, of course.
But interesting is that Sumerian writings on very old statues in South America. Again, the question is if those monuments can be proved that they are much older than 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years, then that means it could be that the writing came from there to Near East or Middle East.
Now there's writing on this particular
yes
plate.
Also this man, his face is not South American Indian face, and also the clothes has nothing to do with any known pre-Columbian culture, but there is also a story or legend from Lake Titicaca from Bolivia that there existed the so-called kingdom Akakua, and especially the brotherhood, the White Brotherhood. So if you look at this man, it could be that it is from this age or from this Legion Kingdom, or however we can call it. It's a very interesting piece, and the symbols which are here on the bottom I never ever saw on any other artifact.
So that's not the same as the global pre-Sanskrit language.
It is different. It is different.
That's
But what is the age we're talking about of this?
Who knows?
Eventually. Well, I
Who
mean,
knows?
it just...
I think the only possibility to check the real original, there is in Germany an institution which could find out where the material which was used for the making came from. That we have to do when we can finance it. But another thing is, on the back side, it shows, and this is very unusual for anybody, it looks like it was broken, and on the front side you can only see one line where it was broken, but how did they remove the other broken line, and why did they repair it in this way? I mean, there is not a real explanation for it.
What we're looking at here is the raised line of a weld, just as you would have in a machine shop if you wanted to weld a little piece of your car here in Vienna. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, it's so well done that it barely shows in the front. That's also very significant, I would think.
A friend of mine, a very great geologist, checked this. He said it's a perfect masterwork, first of all, and it was gold plated in the past.
So it used to be gold plated, but the gold has been taken off.
Yes.
So that implies in itself that it's very old. This isn't the kind of thing
But-
that would be done recently.
But it also doesn't look scratched. Like, how did they remove the gold without scratching it? Because it's still beautiful, really.
Yes.
It has an amazing integrity about, the artwork is just amazing.
And you're going to go on an expedition fairly soon, is
Yes.
that right? Is this
Yes.
something you can talk about on record?
Yes, we have informations that they found skeletons. We have from the Bolivian military, we got some informations that they found skeletons, I talked before, in the size of 2.6, 2.8 meters with the long skulls. And then we will definitely ask the government if we might be allowed to bring one skeleton to Europe, to Vienna, and hopefully we get the cooperation of the university that we can make all the checkings necessary on it.
Well, that would be quite spectacular to have a skeleton like that. Something which I would like to say on record here, I'm sure you know about this, is that circulating around the internet there are photographs of apparent archaeological excavations of these big skulls, but these are all Photoshop hoaxes, aren't they?
Most of them, I would say until now there is not a real original photograph on the internet. I mean, I found out very quickly, I got this information when I saw the first skeleton. It was written, they found it in India, then later on they found a similar one in China and all this. I knew exactly that this is a fake.
Yes. In fact, they're not fake. It would be unkind to call them fakes.
They are professional computer graphic design work.
They were actually
Perfect done.
there are entries in a Photoshop competition,
Yes.
is what they were.
Yes.
So no one's trying to
Right.
hoax. But the
Right.
problem is they're so good that people then think it's real, and the kids pick them up on YouTube and they go around saying, look,
That's
here's an
right.
Nephilim, and actually this isn't real evidence. Right?
That's right.
Many people who've been following our own work would be wanting us to ask you the question about Zechariah Sitchin's research into Sumerian ancient texts and his conclusions about the Anunnaki. Do you have any personal view, or have you encountered any evidence from your own work about the Anunnaki? Or is this connected with the giants that you've been talking about? Or do you not feel able to comment on this?
I read the books from Mr. Sitchin. Very interesting stories. I have not yet approval that it really connects to the Anunnaki, but as I told you before, the finding of the Sumerian writing in Bolivia is talking on to some of the explanations of Mr. Sitchin, and hopefully with more information on my next Bolivian trip, maybe I can even find more and more. And the next step is the strange artifacts from Middle or Near East found in South America, in Ecuador. That would be another connection to the history or the story which Zacharias Sitchin is writing or wrote in his books. Could be, but I have no approval.
Do you know Zacharias Sitchin? Have you corresponded with him?
I corresponded with him 2001 because I wanted if he might come to our opening of the exhibition, and later on I tried it several times, but I could not anymore. I would really appreciate to meet this man once personally and talk with him personally.
I can understand that, us too, for exactly the same reasons. Now, that also then leads on to another question, and here I invite you to speculate, because as time moves on, can you imagine maybe a time in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, let's not let 2012 get in the way, when much more is being uncovered, much more is being revealed, many more young alternative archaeologists are coming forward and doing good work. What do you think is still there, waiting to be discovered? What do you think the picture might look like that we might find the evidence to assemble?
I think there are still many things underground, but the strange thing is, since the last few years, more and more artifacts are coming up. That means the finding of such artifacts is tremendous increasing, and if we talk about the amount concerning Bolivian archaeologists, only 10% of the archaeological sites in Bolivia are researched. That means not only Bolivia, Ecuador, the jungle, Brazil, there are so many places all over the world, Africa, which are not discovered yet archaeological-wise. There's too much still underground, and I hope we find point by point more pieces, more puzzles to finalize a wonderful picture. And that the Earth was completely different than we are talking or we are knowing or we get taught by schools and scientists.
What you do with your investigations is a lot to do with what you are able to do on a human level. In other words, making friends, influencing people, getting sort of inroads, finding this one leads to that one, sort of almost a magic that goes on between you and the people you meet. Isn't that right?
Sometimes it's very strange even for me, and when I make a joke I say somebody is moving the strings and I'm moving into this and that direction, and there are so many coincidences. Sometimes things are coming very automatically, but I think it's always very important to make friendship all over the world, and another very important point is to keep promises and be honest and give informations to people. Then people will give informations also to you.
Something that's impressed me about you is that you are happy to credit the work of other researchers. You're all working together as a big team here. It's no one doing this on their own, is it?
No, and that's what I just said. If I am always willing to give informations to others, like today I give you informations, I mean, I do not want to wait until I write a bestseller book or some people ask me to pay for my speech. No, I think it's the most important in our days, because 2012 is very soon coming. What will happen, we don't know, nobody knows. And I think it's important to give informations, then you will receive informations. And just a global network can help the researchers to find out certain answers on certain